Hello, world. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz coming off the Rocket Mortgage Classic, where Tony Finau, where he be now, once in the winner's circle again, back-to-back weeks. Just a dominating performance from start to finish. Sleaze ended up winning by 5 up in Detroit.
How about the kid right now, just coming in and doubling up his total wins on the PGA Tour in the matter of about 7 days span from 8 days, Sunday to Sunday. Dude, he's fun to watch right now. I mean, it's like we've been talking about for so long. We know when the ball striking's been there. Tee to green, he was spectacular. Led the field this week. And then the putter, all of a sudden, whatever he's done, he's the guy that tinkers a lot with that putter. We've seen a lot of different grips, lie angles, things like that. Whatever he's got going right now, it's working because he was 15th in strokes gained putting. When you hit it the way he does, you don't need to be the world's greatest putter. But Colt, we were talking about it earlier today. Like, not only was he making putts that maybe historically in the past on the weekend haven't gone in, he was making those, but even the putts he misses, like they're looking like they're going in. You're watching for the entire time. They're just burning the low side or they're just high or things like that. Like that's what good putters do. They don't make everything, but their putts look like they're going in for a long, long time. And Tony's doing that right now. And it's a problem if he gets that thing going because the ball striking is ridiculous.
Listen, I was able to share the final group with Dottie Pepper on Sunday, and so I got to see it up close and personal, and it is something special right now. He is flushing it, driving it like Fred Funk, but 50 yards longer, which is a nice thing to have. But, man, it is cool. You can tell he's just oozing with confidence. He's carrying himself like a champion. He knows he's back to being one of the best players in the world, and I can't wait to see what he does in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He's the nicest guy out there. It's hard not to root for Tony Finau. That crowd in Detroit was behind him. They were loving every minute of it. That place was jammed. It was so cool coming down the stretch, seeing them cheer on Tony Finau.
Yeah, dude, his interview after the round was awesome to hear him say that. He got to be there with his family and his kids and all that, up to 7th on the FedEx Cup now. And I mean, dude, it wasn't too long ago. I think you can rewind back to May, and he only had 2 top 10s on the year, and one of those being at the Hero with the limited field. Like, it was kind of like, where's Tony? Why aren't we seeing the Tony we've seen for a long time? And then now all of a sudden, bang, bang. And it just looks like when he's standing over the ball on the greens, like there's confidence there for the first time. Even the pace in which his putts are going in, it's not like he's scared of having a comeback or anything like that. He's peaking at a nice time coming into the FedEx Cup, looking to add about 15 mil to that bank account.
I think the Hero doesn't count as an official top 10, but that was his only one leading into the Mexican Open. I was all talking about how he averages 8 top 10s a year, and he hadn't had any until Mexico, and then he's gone on an absolute tear since then. But man, it's like you said, if the putter gets going, look out. It is going to be something special to watch. I'm interested to see what he does in these playoffs, if he can continue. If he continues playing this way and putting himself in position every week, he can definitely, contend for that FedEx Cup title here in a few weeks. But Sleaze, you were up in Detroit. You got out safely. I'm lucky to get out safely. Saturday, we had the old set on the 15th green there, the par 3, myself and Amanda Renner. Max Homo was kind enough to join us. I took a little shot at the Detroit Lions. They have their 3-1-3 program up there, where if they make a 3 on 14, a 1 on 15, and a 3 on 16, which happens to be the area code there in Detroit, a bunch of money gets donated to charity. I said, I'll be honest, when I first saw the 3-1-3, I thought it was 3 and 13, the Detroit Lions record pretty much every single year. Some people, all 6 of their fans, didn't really take too kindly to that, so I was getting heckled a little bit walking down the fairways there on Sunday, but it was just all out of joke. It was just a joke. It was a lot of fun. We're allowed to joke around on TV occasionally. I don't know if people know that, but luckily I made it out of there alive. One gentleman did yell at me walking down the first fairway Sunday. He goes, "Fuck you, Colt. We're going to win more than 3 games this year." I said, "Cool, buddy. Good luck to you. Enjoy."
Well, you're getting an extra crack. You get 17 games now. So, good luck to you. They're coming up, by the way, on Hard Knocks, coming in a very short order. I cannot wait. Football season officially back. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Even the most diehard Lion fans are probably like, yep, fuck. We don't win a whole lot.
There's a reason they're saying is restore the roar. You don't restore the roar if you're any good. It's already there.
It doesn't need to be restored. It just stays. Yeah, they could use
shout
some
out
roars.
Detroit. It was a lot of fun. You welcomed us with open arms. We had a blast up there with Fanduel, doing a bunch of interviews, one of them which is our episode this week in Mike Tirico. But first, we got to tell you a little bit about our friends over at Dewar's. And Dewar's blended Scotch whiskey and the great game of golf are a match made in Scotland. Because honestly, few things are better after a round of golf than a round of Dewar's. Especially Dewar's 15-year-old, created to be a lighter, sweeter blended Scotch whiskey. It's double-aged and as smooth as peering an iron over the bunker for a tap-in birdie. With notes of honey and toffee that play off subtle floral notes, this is a must-try blended Scotch. We love it so much that we recommend giving a bottle to someone special for a milestone birthday, promotion, or even a close friend's wedding, or sleaze on a Tuesday. You can make your gift even more meaningful by making a personalized bottle or a custom label at doers.com. So here's to great blended Scotch whiskey and to golf, a perfect combination. Enjoy responsibly. It is now time for the Doers Cheers moment of the week. And Sleaze, I'm just going to be honest. For me this week, we're spending too much time together. Cheers to that. Because recently, I'm confident in saying this. I'm not ashamed of it, but you were in my dreams.
No,
and this
dude,
it's starting to get terrifying.
I'd be more concerned if I wasn't in your dreams. You have my full attention on this, though, right now. Proceed.
I think there's a reason why I found out I sleep so shitty. It's because you're in my dreams.
That's it, dude.
It's
hard to not get fired up when the kid slides in there.
But this one, in particular, I don't really remember my dreams very often. But for some reason, I just woke up laughing, and I remembered the dream from the night before. So, believe it or not, you were actually playing the Byron Nelson, the AT&T Byron Nelson on the PGA Tour. I am on the golf course commentating, as I usually do. Well, you, Sleaze, were in the lead by 5 with 2 holes to play. You were dominating the whole week. I'm following your group. I'm like, my God, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen for the game of golf. This is not good. Somebody's got to do something. Spieth, get your ass in gear. If Sleaze wins, I mean, this is worse than golf for Liv. It's just not going to be good. So we get to 16. You got a 5-shot lead. You're getting ready to tap in. All of a sudden, I wake up, and I'm like, oh, thank God. This shit isn't real. This is great. I'm going to give it a little laugh, and then I'm going to go back to sleep. But congratulations. If I do sleep well again and I can finish that dream off, I'll let you know. But you had a 5-shot lead with 2 to play, bud.
You're like a little Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, dude. Your dreams are prophecies. You know what I mean? You're seeing what could happen. Shout out to anybody at Byron Nelson. If you want the kid to come in there and put that thing to real life. 5, I think 5's light, honestly. If I get clicking, Colt, you see me get clicking. I don't know anybody that can stay within 6 of me personally, but it does suck that you didn't get to see me get all the way to the winner's circle. I would have finished bird triple, probably win by 4 or 5. You know what I mean? That's the way I like to bring it home.
A win's a win.
But the fact that I'm in those dreams and I'm in your subconscious,
it's terrifying.
God damn, I love that. I'll give you my moment of the week. You're here for this one as well. Speaking of how much time we're spending together. All right, we get up there. It was Monday night in Detroit. We're staying at the same hotel, so we go down to the bar. We're going to have a couple cocktails, go out, do what we do. We walk down there. Who's sitting at the bar? Kiz, our boy Kevin Kisner, and the seagull, Charlie Hoffman is there. So, hey, boys. So we walk over, we're having a couple drinks, talking to him. And there's this dude standing a few feet away, right? And he's kind of like lurking or whatever. He's talking. He seems like a nice guy, but he hasn't said anything. And he comes over just in the middle of the conversation. And Rep's like, excuse me, that looks a lot like Charlie Hoffman. And we're like, yeah, sure enough, bud. That's the man himself. And he's like, wow, Charlie Hoffman, huge fan, dude, love you. We're like, yeah, we call him the seagull around here. Call him the seagull. We start doing the caca and all that stuff. But meanwhile, Kiz is sitting right next to him. Dude doesn't even look his way, doesn't acknowledge him, has no earthly idea who Kevin Kisner was. It was all Charlie Hoffman all the time with this dude. I'm looking at Kiz just smiling. I was like, he's got no idea. Here's Kiz right here too. He's obviously a golf fan if he knows who Hoffman was. And then Hoffman stood up. He's like, wow, you're a lot bigger than I thought you were.
We should have given him Charlie's room number.
Oh shit, he's in 312, and here's his phone number. I'm gonna send it to you right now. So anyway, I love that. I was like, kids getting no love from the dude right here. It was all Hoffman all the time. Moment of the week for me. I really enjoyed it.
He's even uglier in person, isn't he?
Yeah. Wow, you're way less shitty looking in person.
I love it. Well, that's our Doers Cheers moment of the week. And by the way, you happen to check this new lid I got out right here if you're happen to be watching on YouTube. Fresh birdie juice. We got all kinds of new colors. We even got a gravy bird hat. We got some hats with both the birds on it with American flags draped over it. Just gorgeous stuff. Make sure you go to the Golf.com Pro Shop and pick some up. And Sleaze, our guest this week. I mean, this might have been the easiest interview we have ever done. I mean, when you got a guy who's a legendary broadcaster who's used to interviewing people, you really don't need to prepare at all. You just sit down, you talk, you bullshit, and that's exactly what we did with the great Mike Tirico. It's one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. I
would echo that 100%. I think it's one of my favorite ones we've ever done. Being the broadcaster, a guy that's used to asking the questions, he does the interviews, like he turns it around, starts asking us, like, hey, no, this is not how it works, bud. We will do the question asking here. But is there an easier guy to talk to in the planet? I mean, we got off course times. We started going around and we talked about a lot of different shit. I think at one point we're like, what are we even talking about here? Let's get back to it. But dude, he sat there. He gave us an hour at least of his time. When I asked him to do it, he was all the way in. They don't get any better than Mike, dude. He's awesome.
We were getting ready to go on air on Thursday. I chimed in and said, Mike, you sound a little nervous. I know this is a big deal. This is your hometown event and all. I was like, just remember everything Sleaze and I taught you during the podcast today. You're going to be fine.
Yep. I thought he took that to heart too, Colt. He really started to loosen up as the day went on. You could tell the nerves started to settle a bit.
All right, well, here it is. Mike Tirico on Golf Subpar.
Boy, oh boy, do we have a treat here today. If you have ever turned on a television in the history of your life, you know this man coming here today. He calls every sport under the sun, never takes a week off, probably the most versatile man in sports entertainment. Mike Tirico, good to be with you, bud.
Who's the guest on the show today?
Nance is coming in a minute.
Oh, good. Okay, you upgraded. See you, boys. Welcome to Michigan. Welcome to our state.
Thanks for saying hi. This is awkward.
It's good to have you in our state. It's fun.
It's always good to be here. I mean, the Rocket Mortgage, we're out here.
Yeah.
Detroit Golf Club, beautiful place, beautiful weather. How excited do you get for like a week like this? This is a home game for you technically.
I get very excited to stay at home.
Yeah.
You know, it's somebody had a joke once. I can tell off-color stories here?
Of course you can.
This is as loose as a goose.
Okay, good. Somebody said once about the Champions Tour, then it was the Senior Tour. It's like a guy who didn't like being at home. He said, happiness is having a plastic key in your pocket.
There you go.
You got to like being on the road.
Well, you got to be the happiest dude in the world.
No, I don't like that. I like being home. I like knowing the code to get in the house. It's fun to be home, and it's good to see golf in Michigan. Buick Open was at Warwick Hills up in Grand Blanc, about 50 miles north of Detroit. Forever, like 45 years. So it's really nice that this is the fourth year to have it back and to have one in the city. I think this is the most urban event on the PGA Tour. It's within the city limits. It's a very diverse city. I think the gallery you see here is that truly diverse gallery that the PGA Tour and all sports entities want to see more of. They want to see a audience, people in person that look like America, and I think you see that more here than at any other event.
I would agree with that. And by the way, you mentioned the old Buick Open, Flint, Michigan. My rookie year was the last year that tournament happened.
Oh.
My God, I love that place.
It's a pretty cool
I
spot,
miss that. I mean, can we get that back?
Will Zalatoris probably just hit it close. Shut up, Will. We're trying to freaking interview Tirico
Do
here.
something. We're trying to work here.
Call someone. Fire him.
Tiger played a couple of years because it was the Buick Open, and Tiger was a Buick guy early on, had Buick on his bag. Man, there were people shoehorned into that place. Tight, narrow place.
It was a mini Phoenix Open.
People everywhere. It was really a cool
fantastic.
event. 8 gazillion under. It was a good stuff.
By the way, I don't know where they come from. Nice scenery there around Flint, Michigan.
It's a great state, man.
I was like, man.
This is the heartland. These
like
are good people here.
Great people here. We had a good time in Detroit downtown the other night. That's fun. There's a lot of stuff going on down there. But you're talking about happiness is a plastic key in your car. I want to go back to that for a second. As a guy that works everything,
right?
How many weeks a year are you home?
You know, it's not that bad. I'm probably on the road, 35-ish, maybe 30 to 35, depending on the year. Like an Olympic year is a mess, but you know that now. I mean,
30, 35 is a lot.
Life on the road is hard. Look, it's tour pro life. I always tell people that we do work weekends. We work Christmas and Thanksgiving and all those holidays. It's kind of the downside of the job. The great side of the job is you don't have to go to the office. You work at home before everybody worked at home. You get to be around your family during the week and get to see them. And it's just a trade-off. Like, life's a series of trade-offs. And if that's our trade-off, to do a job that you love and see amazing athletes, the best in the world, different sports, man, life's good.
You're getting paid to talk about sports.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't get much better.
Pretty good.
It's really good. And it's been fun. Like, this is I had to stop and think about it the other day. I've been doing this now for 32 years on network TV. Wow. I started ESPN in 1991. I'm freaking old. But, man, have I seen some great athletes and got to meet really cool people.
Are you nervous right now on here with all these lights and shit? Microphone?
I'm not nervous by
Just be you.
Knost, who's become,
oh, my God. He's vice captain of the Ryder Cup, dude.
Multimedia. Like, it's radio, it's pod, it's TV, it's web, it's satellite. It's a lot.
Just be yourself. Picture him naked.
No,
Don't do that.
I want to. People are watching us. I don't want to do that.
By the way, I'll never forget. I remember your start at ESPN. I was 6. It was great.
Thanks.
But let's go back to that. You said, what, 32 years? I mean, you're a Syracuse guy. Shout out Syracuse. They produced all the greats. But you're Mike Tirico, the guy on everything now. Give me your first on-air gig you ever did.
Anything, not just
the first time you got in front of a camera or a microphone and people were listening.
First time I got in front of a microphone, I was doing sportscast on the college radio station in Syracuse, 1985, 85. And then first football game I broadcast was September 1985. Syracuse played at Virginia Tech. So I've been calling a ball moving and people listening to it for like 36 or 37 years.
That Syracuse radio is, it's like the Hall of Fame of people coming through.
That's why I included in the experience of being on the air, because people listen to the college station because a lot of folks wanted to hear the next guy who they thought would go on, like Bob Costas worked there, Dick Stockton worked there, Marv Albert worked there, Ted Koppel, who did Nightline, which may have been after you were born.
The great
Stoltz.
Sean McDonough.
I'll get to that pain in the ass in a minute. Sean McDonough, who I dearly love. Dan Horde, who's the voice of the Cincinnati Bengals. Dave Pash, Iron Eagle. Just a whole mess of us. Jason Benetti, who's now doing great stuff at a bunch of different networks, so on and so forth. So we got a ton of people, but it was a great place because you went someplace where everybody else was good. So you got to figure out right away if you could do this or not. It's like going to play golf at one of those great programs, at a Texas or a Wake, or the programs where okay, one or two of these guys likely going to be a really good pro. You got to measure yourself against the best, and that was a great place to get started for me.
At what age did you know, like, this is what I want to do?
So this is really embarrassing. I was like a little kid.
Really?
My mom will tell you that I would run around pretending to be an announcer and talking to my a hand, like, hey, hi, I'm Mike, I'm here. And
does she have any of those clips?
No, she doesn't.
Okay,
thank God.
Well,
thank God.
We'll reach out.
Unable to bring those.
Yeah,
up.
jot that down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, find that. No,
it'll be like Tiger's Swing on the whatever
on the Mike
show
Douglas
we went
show.
on. Yeah.
So speaking of that, did you guys have seen the Rory on the?
Ireland
versus
that where he chipped into the washing machine.
We showed it on the Open.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
dang cool. And chipping into his mom's washing machine. That was really neat.
How'd that never get out till then? I was like, this. You feel like this would be like Tiger's clip?
I had seen it once, but I hadn't seen it in years. It is such a good clip.
It is.
And to hear him talk, I forgot him talking about it. To hear Rory at 9 years old talking is just with that little kind of lilt in his voice, and it was just really, really, really neat.
Looks the exact same, except now he's got muscles.
And the deal was he's wearing a Nike swoosh. He's doing a black Nike shirt.
He knew it back in the day.
Fully on. He may have been on payroll by then.
Yeah, smart marketing.
Figured it out.
Yeah. They recruited early.
So I kind of knew I wanted to do this. Went to college at Syracuse because Marv Albert and Bob Costas did, and they were New York guys who went on to do this, and it's been kind of going to the next stop and the next stop ever since.
Were those kind of the two guys you looked up to?
Yeah, those guys. There were some, especially Marv, because Marv was, a lot of people know him as being a network announcer for the NBA, but he was a local announcer too for the Knicks and the Rangers, which are the teams I grew up rooting for in the NHL and the NBA, and he was also the sportscaster on local TV at night. So Marv would do like the 6 o'clock news. He'd go call a Ranger game. He'd come back and do the 11 o'clock news. Then he'd fly somewhere and do an NBC event somewhere. And then come back and do the Ranger game or a Knick game like on Sunday night. So that's somewhere in my wiring, my brain, where people said, boy, you really, like, you work a lot. You do a lot of different things. That's the way I was taught it was supposed to be. You were supposed to be able to do everything. And like we said before, this isn't work. Like, building buildings and digging ditches and saving people's lives, that's real work. This is entertainment. And I always felt that way and approached that way, and still talking.
Yeah, it's funny because I think we always say, like, people think, oh, so-and-so would be good on TV. But you don't know until the red light goes on and you actually have to do it for the first time.
Like, a lot of people thought you wouldn't be any good.
A lot of people still saying that.
I was like, people think I'm good? I mean, are you kidding me?
A lot of people still holding firm to that position.
But
no, you're right. You're right.
It's 100. Like, I mean, we all know guys that think they got great personalities and they struggle. For you, like, as long as you've done this, do you still get like excited for events? Do you still get nervous for events or anything?
So I would say it's like it's adrenaline, not nerves. I think the day you lose the thrill of what you do, it might be time to find something that you do every day that is different than what you're doing. I don't know. I would hope you can tell me. I would hope that when a guy gets to the first tee, no matter how many times he's played, and it's a tour event and the ropes are up and there's your name on the walking score deal, like, it gets you excited. Like, you're excited to play because who knows what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I would think that's the same kind of feeling for a lot of people who are listening, and if you're not a pro but you play in an event at your club or something like that, you want to be excited on the first tee.
Of course.
When you do anything in life, if it brings you joy and it gets your attention, then you're doing the right thing. So I still feel that. I would say the only time in the last 10 years I've been nervous, truly, like, I'm like kind of, get out of your own headspace for a minute, just do your job, was coming on for the first time hosting the Olympics. because Bob Costas has done that since most of us have been alive. And most people, like I think it was like 40% of America, had never seen anybody but Bob Costas host the Olympics in prime time. And like for like the 2 minutes before, I'm like, okay, well, let's see. How should I do this? Should I have like fun? Should I be serious? And then like a minute later, I just cracked a joke in the studio and just like, come on, stop.
It's no big deal.
It's
only the whole world
planet,
watching.
dude. Who cares?
Well, I did look at
what?
I did look at Drew Brees and Tony Dungy on the set at halftime before the Super Bowl halftime this year. I said, guys, no pressure, but 103 million people are going to be watching you right now. This is the biggest audience you will ever talk in front of. Don't screw up.
Yep.
There's still billions who
And I
aren't
screwed up.
watching.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
But when
a
you
good way
think,
to think of it.
there's multiple billions that don't even know you're on TV.
That's a really
Next time you get nervous, think of that.
So
only 100 mil.
I should think about the nice gentleman in Micronesia who
Yeah.
doesn't have a TV. He just reads.
You don't even know what you're doing. right now.
Micronesia Bob.
But you do, like, you went from that Olympics back to do the Super. I mean, you do football, basketball, NHL. You call them swimming and horses and everything. What's the hardest when you get an assignment?
good one.
Like, I got to tighten up. I need to do some research. What's the hardest one to call?
Well, the research is there for all of them. I think the ones I've done the least are the ones you have to do the most research so you feel comfortable. But, like, I'll do the Thursday, Friday here, which is, it's not easy, quote unquote, but it's natural. Right, because I've done many, many, many golf tournaments. Don't do them as much as I used to, but I'll still do my research for Thursday and Friday because you want to feel like you're adding to the broadcast. The hard one is hockey for me. It's the hardest one to broadcast. The guys who call hockey on a regular basis, I have such admiration for, because hockey you can never look down. You've got to memorize the numbers, and it's the only sport where they change players in the competition without stopping.
Yeah.
Basketball, we stop.
fast.
Baseball, the umpire takes off his mask and waves to the guy and says, this guy is in. Football, it's between plays. Even if the clock's running, you're going to sub. The ball's not moving. Hockey, it's just, you can have 4 or 5 minutes of it. So I'll tell you a quick one. I did a Red Wings Blackhawks game. First game I did like 4 years ago. I've only done like a dozen games. I'm not very good at it. And I'm doing the game. And but I got a tip from one of the guys who does it often. Says, just memorize lines, like Stoltz, Tirico, Knost. They'll be the line.
That's a hell of a
left
line.
wing, center, right wing, right? So you have a
Enforcer.
I'm
sense.
center.
Right. You're the enforcer?
I'm the enforcer.
Can you skate, by the way?
I'm not sure. I
That's
haven't
a
in a long
good
time.
bet.
Can you skate?
Actually,
Actually,
it.
I'll send you a clip of me skating,
Yes.
Mike. We
have a
actually had a
clip.
bet with a former NHL player that was quite the production.
And you
In
can't
fact,
skate?
I can get around a rink. I cannot lift a puck or check a former NHL player to the ground.
But you
That's
can't
how I
skate.
thought
while
I
wearing
might.
no pads. He was
While wearing
this
no
is-
pads.
This is how terrified he was. He didn't even put pads on. He's like, take
I
a run
didn't
at me,
want to
bud.
kill Wizard, dude. I couldn't kill Wiz. Think I go down in history as the guy that killed the Wiz. I could have taken his head off.
That's fabulous. So memorize the lines. I memorize the lines. Second shift of the first game I do, some guy takes a stick to the face. He's out for the rest of the game. He's cut, stitches, couldn't come back. So I'm like, everything I memorized completely out
Yep.
the window because now we're shuffling lines.
that's
So
worst case.
the hockey announcers, hockey play-by-play announcers have my admiration. They've got to constantly talk. In golf, if you shut up, people love you. Oh, man, it's great. You know what? It was such a good time. I was watching the golf on Sunday, and you guys are so good. I took a nap. You guys are so peaceful and
The worst thing ever.
Just
Right?
lay out.
Right?
Like, the rudest thing is like people are like, oh, I love to turn the golf on and take a nap.
Yes.
I'm like, no, wake your ass up. Listen
That's
to me.
my job.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you know what you're doing here, less is more.
Yeah.
Some people just like to see the shots, and you don't have to overtalk it. So
This is driving me nuts. I'm drawing a blank. He just retired. Legendary hockey
Mike Emmerich?
broadcaster.
Doc
Oh,
Emmerich?
my God, Doc Emmerich. He is so good. Like you said, that's why I admire him so much, the way he does it. First off, he goes so fast, he could just be totally making shit up. I don't even know. He's
That's the beauty of hockey.
from here to here, from here to here. And I'm like, I don't even know if that's true, but whatever. Sounds good.
He lives in Michigan. He lives about an hour north of us.
God,
What
he's good.
What a great guy and a wordsmith, and he uses the language within broadcasting as well as anybody ever has, and that's a really cool thing. He'll say like a defenseman is ladling, he'll saucer the puck in. Like you don't know what he said, but now when you think about saucer, okay, so like it lands over the rim and in that little spot on the saucer where the cup sits. Perfect, brilliant. genius.
Different verbiage. I thought McCord was very good at that.
Oh my
Speaking
God,
of
he was
making
great.
shit up, 98% of his stats were he's like, I just made it up. So he misses the fairway left 75% of the time.
He literally told me what piece
He's
of
like, he's like, no one knows. This was pre-Google.
That's right.
There was no fact checkers calling the hotline. Like, that's wrong. You just make up
That's
everything.
what he told me. He goes, listen, what you do is you make shit up so ridiculous that they can't even prove it.
Yeah, there's no stat. They don't keep that stat.
That's the thing now with ShotLink, you can find everything, and that's the other thing too. Now now you have the police department online waiting for everything you say. Hey, heard you say this. It's wrong. It was well, that's not what I said in the first place. But that's fine. You know what?
Go away, Twitter.
It makes us better because you know that people are going to catch you, and that's fine. If something artificial or not, real or not, embraced or not, forces you to be better at what you do, that's great. Like the whole live thing, I think live golf, and we all have our own opinions on it. I think it's going to force the PGA Tour to be better.
I think it's already happening, yeah.
Starting, it has to. Competition is good. Checks and balances are really good. And as long as you know, hey, don't take it as gospel from somebody who's drinking on their couch and just tweeting random angry stuff. If somebody says
with an
something,
anonymous name.
yeah, if somebody says
I love
something
those
that's
people.
legit, right? Would you go on Twitter with a false account? And it's like a Kevin Durant
Yeah, a
burner
little
account,
burner. You gotta have
Kevin
yourself a
Durant
little
burner
burner.
situation.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Would you? Is that the question?
Like better than Nost,
I mean,
right?
I would. I don't know.
Ah,
I'll be
there you
honest.
go.
I kind of
Colt
Yeah,
Knost
I
thing.
like
I-
that.
I kind of just fire at people anyway.
I know,
Whether it's
yeah, I
my
know.
account or not, I don't really
You
care.
do.
You come at me, I'm coming back at you.
That's true.
One
There's that
follower
option available.
account created yesterday. Get in an argument.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Better than Nost. Look out.
I like that
We're
better
in.
than notes.
We're on.
Stay on golf broadcast for a minute because you do a lot of on TV, like you said. Sometimes you just lay out. That's the best thing you can
Right.
do. But we had the pleasure of working with you this year at the Masters. You're doing it on radio, which is like the opposite.
so
Because then you
fun.
can't just lay out and let them walk down the
Yeah.
fairway. You gotta, and the birds are flying. I mean, it's golf on radio is a different beast, is it not?
It's a totally different beast, and it's interesting because I never understood that it could work. And then I went over to the British Open, which was still called the British Open at that point,
Well, wow.
and heard the BBC do it. This was 20 years ago. I'm like, damn, this works. I can follow this. And then PGA Tour Radio started to pick up a little steam, and now it's a real thing. And those guys do such a good job. And they really do. You'll find yourself in the car driving, and you know what's going on. And it's pretty neat. So listening to those guys do it over the years and to be able to hop in. Anytime you're asked to do anything at Augusta, I think you do it. Right?
No doubt.
Exactly. And it's
Touche.
only a couple of people get to call the Masters, and to do it on radio was kind of cool. And then I got a chance to do it with Curtis Strange, who got me started as my sidekick in the 18th Tower 25 years ago. And just a chance to do golf with him again and sit there at Augusta for 3 hours and kind of laugh it was so worth it. I loved it. It was a blast.
It's fun. It's different.
You mentioned the golf on the radio at the Sirius XM. I was calling a shot at 3M the other day, and Fred Albers was like 10 yards from me. And I'm like in the middle of a call, and all of a sudden here this guy just made an unreal up and down. He's like, he turned chicken feathers into chicken salad. And I was like, what the hell? I started like laughing.
It's gotta be jelly because jam don't shake like that or some
Dude,
crazy
I was like,
shit.
what in the hell did he just say? I start dying laughing as I'm trying to make a call.
I will say that.
You should steal that.
Yeah, you
Take
should.
that.
I will say this: those guys see a lot of golf shots now.
Yes.
I mean, it's 4 days, it's
Yep.
6 hours. Those boys see a lot of
lot of
4-footers. They describe a lot of putts.
You gotta have different ways to say the same thing over
Oh
and
my
over
God!
and over.
Turning towards the hole, and it's in, it's down, it's three.
And
It's
he
a
walks
lot.
up and he's yeah.
exactly.
All that stuff. I like to ask this to all of our broadcasters that come on. You're a tough
Who else
one.
have you guys had on?
Your best friend,
We
Sean
had Shawnee
McDonough.
McD.
Okay.
Who else was that? We had like Noda.
We had
Brandel.
Romo. He doesn't really count.
Romo doesn't count for
Wow.
anything. He's
Wow.
kind of a wild
But
card.
Brandel.
It's a real impressive list so
Brandel,
far. Yeah.
Noda. Yeah, we can't get Nancy's too big.
What? Come
I'm
on.
joking.
No, Nance asked to come on. I said no.
No, we're booked up for a while, Jim.
Yeah.
If you're
We're
listening.
busy,
You
bud.
guys are bad.
But give me your. There has to be one moment in 32 years where you've said something and been like, "Whoops, that was bad." Give me an oopsie daisy.
you know, I knock on wood, man. I have not had a disastrous
disappointing.
blooper.
I
I know.
know.
I said
He's good.
I
I
said
know, it
somebody
sucks.
sprained their mid left foot, which
That can happen.
implied 3 feet.
If that's the worst thing,
Yeah, but yeah, I'm lucky. I have not really, called the wrong guy the wrong name at the wrong time. So I'm so far so good.
give it time.
So when I screw up this weekend, I am calling your ass and blaming you
Gotcha.
for putting it in my head. Yeah, no, that's always our biggest fear, right? My fear when I was doing a bunch of sports at the same time was that I'd have like the the quarterback for Boston College playing point guard for the Celtics, or like a guy named Brown, whether you'll have, I may go through the year and have 24 different guys named Brown in different sports. Like, just make sure you get the right one. And now that you get older, the hard part is the first names of a lot of the second generation guys.
Oh yeah,
man,
getting
it's
the
hard
kids
as hell.
coming in.
Yeah.
God,
And the numbers might be the same.
even out here, it's hard.
I love that. 32 years, you haven't messed up. It took me like 3 weeks. it was awesome.
No, I've messed up. I just haven't had one of those like, hey, you got to see this blooper. Like
I YouTubed Mike Tirico bloopers. You know what came up?
Nothing.
Mike Tirico's greatest calls.
Yes.
Over and over. I was like, Jesus, there's not a single
Thanks for looking
thing.
for that. My favorite TV blooper I've ever seen is a guy who was doing the local news in Atlanta on TV, like the noon show. This was 30 years ago, maybe more. And he said, so-and-so died today at his Athens home. He was 70 degrees.
Oh, beautiful.
Fabulous.
Yep.
And then they
That's
came
good.
out and did a correction because they got the age wrong. And he said he was 72 degrees. He repeated
Oh.
it twice.
Even better.
Retraction, quick
It's-
retraction.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
I'll tell you, one of mine was like, I think my 3rd week ever doing this. I was in the tower on 17 in Memphis. And it was a 5-hour show. It's 110 degrees out. I'm like getting delirious out there.
Tower must smell very
Oh my God.
aromatic.
But we're showing Cam Smith, and I was like, over at 17, Cam Newton, and it didn't
Cam
hit
Newton.
me until
Cam
about
Newton.
like 12 seconds later. And I looked at the spotter and I go, did I just say Cam Newton? He's like, yeah. I was like, sorry about that. It's almost football season. I'm just getting a little excited.
And they look alike.
Fabulous.
Easy
They-
mistake.
Yes, they do.
Easy mistake to make.
It happens.
It totally happened. So I still can't believe Cam Smith played 10 through 14 at the Old Course, back 9 Sunday of the Open in 15 strokes. That still blows. Like, we were watching it. I think everybody was so not just into watching Rory, but sure that he was going to find
Yeah.
a way, that it just kind of snuck up on you a little bit. That, oh, wait, he's made 3. Now he's made 4. By the time he made 4, it was on your radar, and they made 5. Like, where they had the holes tucked
Yes.
on that day, to go through those 5 holes in 15 strokes, that's one of the all-time great back 9 Sunday stretches in the history of major championship golf. And I don't think it got
I don't.
the
I
the
think
acclaim
it's,
it should
the
have.
story's been more Rory didn't win than Cam Smith just played one of the best final rounds in
shot
Open
30.
Championship history
Yes.
and won the damn thing. It seems to be the narrative is more of Rory didn't win.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I did the all-time. I was lucky enough to do the all-time. It's remembered for the guy who lost than the guy who won. Vandeveld in '99. You know, you
were
never mention Paul R. You always mention Vandeveld first. You know, and it was the same. It's the same kind of thing in a certain way. Cam Smith's a little more acclaim than Paul Laurier coming off the Players win in March, but still, it was. I think Rory had everybody pulling for him for all the reasons we've discussed ad nauseum, but he really did, and he had it right there in his hands. I think he played the smart, safe round. Sometimes you turn around and the car behind you didn't see, and it's going 90, and it's past you. Like, oh wait, there's no police officer there. I can go that fast, and it's too late.
Well, you mentioned, I mean, you were there. Like, people say he might have played safe. I'm like, those hole locations were so difficult. It was hard to get within 20 feet. Cam Smith just had a really hot putter. But you mentioned the 99 Open with Vandeveld. I mean, because that's what it is, remember, for a lot of people don't know that Paul Laurier won. Trivia question from my man over here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who was the third
there you
man
go.
in that
There you
playoff?
go. Fabulous question.
This is
I'll
what
give you a hint.
Why are you picking on me? I'm not.
I don't know. It just
Because
came to
you're
me.
young.
I know
Because
he
you're
knows
the
because he was there.
Paul Lowry won. I know that.
Yep.
That's a trivia question comes up. Who won when the year
Correct. So
Vanderbilt.
here it is. He won a major championship 2 years before.
He's actually forgotten in a couple of playoffs. He's also forgotten at the one in Whistling Straits
That's right.
as well.
That's exactly
VJ.
right.
This show's not about me, guys. I'd like to defer. I'd like to keep the spotlight on the
No,
guy
I'm
that we're
saying
here
this
to
same
feature.
guy was in the same playoff when VJ won at Whistling Straits with Chris DeMarco. But he's never. Justin Leonard was the other guy in the playoff. And people are like, oh,
I don't even
realize that.
remember that.
Yeah.
I remember Paul Lowry winning. I remember Vanderbilt, obviously.
Well, so the 3 worst drives to ever start a playoff. So one of the quick sidebar
I like
here.
that playoff format too.
The 4-hole?
Yeah.
It's the best. I love it. And especially at the Open. It's really cool. So that took about 30 minutes from when he sank his putt on 18, Vandeveld, for the playoff to start. He went up to his room and changed his pants. Now,
No
it was
way.
rainy. He was staying right there at the hotel. It was rainy. It was a terrible day. I don't know why he had to change his pants, but he comes down
have a good
in
reason
different.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I got an idea.
Exactly. He comes down in different trousers. It was a half hour. It was like, what are we doing?
I've
What are we
never
waiting
heard
for?
that.
And it was cold and damp and dark and wet, and it was one of the worst. You go back and watch those 3 tee shots. They're the worst 3 tee shots to start a playoff in the history of the majors. And people always say that for hyperbole. It was. It's not even close. It was really,
that's
really
incredible.
bad. Yeah, it was brutal. And Paul Laurie, to his credit, played an unbelievable round. How he shot what he shot in the final round is one thing, but then his second shot at 18, he had a 1-shot lead at that point, 2-shot lead. His second shot in the playoff at 18 was amazing. For how cold and wet, felt like it was 50 degrees the whole week. Carnoustie was the best part of that whole week was like greenskeeper's revenge. The greenskeeper was mad at the people telling him how to set up the course, and he was going to be fired. So he just fertilized the rough and let it go. That's why
It was insane.
the winning score, I think it was +8 to get in the playoff.
That's the kind of major I like to see.
Oh no, this was
+8.
This was complete, total carnage. This was the hardest golf course I think I've ever seen. It rivals the Massacre at Wingfoot in '74 for the hardest majors.
And Vanderbilt had to make a little putt just to get in that playoff.
Yeah.
It
Oh
could have
my
been
God.
even.
Has there ever been a bigger
Worse.
fist pump for a triple?
Right.
If you're ever gonna pump one, I was like, dude, you can make quad.
got the worst break
Yes.
ever.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
'Cause all the ball has to do is stay in the grandstand, bounce off of anything, but not backwards and into the thick rough where we had to go over the burn. And you've all seen.
He had to be watching Finau at 3 a.m. on 17
God,
and be like,
right.
where the hell was
Right,
that
right.
bounce for me? Come on.
You wonder how often he thinks that,
Yeah.
right? Like, why didn't I get a good bounce? Do you remember the Never Compromise was the
Yes.
putter
The putter at
company?
the time, yeah.
He went back
yeah.
out in Christmas time the next year for a commercial and played the whole hole with a putter.
Made 6.
Yeah, that's right. Made 6.
Would have won the
That's
Open.
pretty
right.
good going over
Better.
the Burns.
It's,
Yeah.
But you were over at the Open Championship at
Yeah.
St. Andrews just a couple weeks ago. Take us through that scene on Friday with Tiger walking up 18.
that was one that you just wanted to like take I'm glad it wasn't on the air. You just take a step back and take it in, because you really do think, you know what, may not see this again. So we do shifts at the Open because we're on for 11 hours. So the shift at that point was Terry Gannon and Sir Nick and Kurt Byram was in there, and I forget who else was in there. But the next shift was me with Peter Jacobson, Steve Sands, and we walked out of the booth. The booth was by 17, just so we watched Tiger play 17, then watch him tee off 18 and kind of take the walk, because I don't think he'll play there again. I wasn't ready to say he absolutely will not, but I think all of us, when he walked over the bridge and he didn't stop and pause and look back, I'm like, oh man, that
might be it.
But then to see him tear up
Yeah.
as he got closer to 18, that was a lot of things. That was his appreciation for how much the people there appreciated him and all he's done. But it was also like, you know what? Maybe it is the end. You know, he'll still try. He'll always still try. But you guys know, deep down when the tank is starting to show E, and he knows it.
You don't tear up on the if you think I'm on lap 3.
Right.
I got another one to go. If you only do that when you think this might be it, at least at St. Andrews.
And especially Tiger, who, knowing him, would have been pissed with what he was shooting
Oh, yeah.
more than anything else. That overriding emotion keeps out the sadness, the tears, that kind of thing. That emotion was completely overridden by that reality, and he verbalized it too. But I thought that week, in addition to that, I thought what he said about the PGA Tour and the Live Tour and the differences between the two, the dude for a quarter century has been the face of the PGA Tour. He has put money in more people's pockets, including all the guys on the Live Tour. All the guys on the Live Tour who play the PGA Tour make a boatload more money because of Tiger Woods, period. You cannot argue that statement. All of us in TV, the importance of golf, all of that is because of one guy. And he's been the face of it for 25 years, since Hello World in Milwaukee. And for the first time, he really stepped up to be the voice in golf, putting pressure on the major championships, just laying it out there for those guys. Hey, you know what? You may never experience what we're experiencing now if you go there and you can't get in majors. It was cool to see. I'm glad that he took that moment to play a card that he had never played before.
Especially for a guy that hasn't really spoken up in his career on much of any. He kind of plays it right down the middle. I don't want to get involved in all this, and then finally now you're seeing him like he's taking a stance, whether you agree or not.
Well, who was one of his guys? MJ.
Yeah.
And
The
Michael
Republicans buy
famously,
sneakers, yeah.
exactly, and that served Michael well for quite some time. Look, I can't stand some of the debate shows on TV. It doesn't mean that First Take is not a good show, or any of these shows are not interesting. Any of them, fine. You keep going.
Skipper.
Keep going.
I love to hear Skippy's takes.
My point is, like, those shows, while you may have some natural disagreement, you're just disagreeing for the sake of shows.
Yes.
It's a lot
WWE.
of show, right? So you're saying things. Do you really mean all of them? Sometimes when you say nothing, and you don't want to share what you think, the one or two times that you do, it's 20 times more powerful than the person who's always screaming at the top of their lungs. And that's what this was with Tiger. It's a stark comparison of the two, but that's what this was. This was finally Tiger saying once and for all, I'm going to speak up, and this is what I think. And since I don't do it all the time, probably should stop and pay attention.
Yeah, it was a memorable interview for him.
I mean, you cover you cover everything. You've been around all the greats in all the sports. Has anyone done more for a sport than Tiger's done for golf?
It's such a great point. Like, you think about, okay, who's the best of the best that you've seen in your lifetime, right? Baseball, multiple guys you can make an argument about. There's no one guy who stands above all, because a lot of the guys who set the records, there are PED questions about, so you can't really say there's that guy. Football, you certainly, from a championship standpoint, you say Brady. Basketball, you can go Magic, you can go Michael, you can go Larry Bird. All had unique impacts at that time. But the impact that Tiger had, he took a sport that was country club, niche, white, male, and exposed it to, and not cool, by the way, to the opposite of all of those things. Now, it hasn't flipped. I screwed up. I thought if you made me bet, my bet was Tiger was going to bring more minorities to playing the game. And we're seeing a few. We're seeing some. But let's be honest. It's, you go through the faces of the guys who are in this event this week or any tour event, it's 98% white guys, right? But I do think there's a coolness to golf that Tiger has brought. His real impact has been, look at the size of the guys. 6'1", 6'2",
yeah, they're
6'3".
athletes.
I mean, I'm not picking on you at all, Colt.
But
how
go
tall are you?
5'8".
5'8" after it rains, right?
5'8".
I'm not a little bit of growth after it rains.
With the moon boots.
I'll tell you real quick. Then I got funny
My
stories.
astronaut suit.
My point is, like, the average major winners are like 5'8", 5'9". Think of Watson, think of Trevino, think of those guys. Now, look at the guys. It's like, oh, he could be a tight end. Oh, he could be an outside backer.
It's different.
It's different, and I think Tiger making it cool and being that physical presence and bringing physicality. You don't see guys who are as often now who are short, and if you do, they are strong and they are wiry. It's changed the calculus of the whole deal, and to me, it's been a huge impact.
I mean, that's one. That's one thing. I mean, you look at them; they're athletes now. They're big athletes. But you mentioned the height thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the beautiful Pat Perez one day calls me. Okay, he's like, I got to talk.
Beautiful.
You said his name, and
Yeah.
spit my water out.
And I mean, I just love Pat. And
Let's
I'm like,
get into Pat right now.
He's calling me. This is weird. He's like, I got to talk to you about something.
Stay
I'm like,
on
oh
Pat
boy.
for a while.
I'm like, oh boy, what happened? He goes, so I'm sitting here looking at your PGA Tour bio. It says you're 5'9", 215. He goes, look, you can lie about one. You can't lie about both. I was like, that's beautiful.
Good.
That's good.
That's great. That's Pat Perez.
Which one would you rather lie about?
I was like,
Now you got to pick
215,
one.
guys.
Because he makes a
Shut
valid
up.
point.
Next question. Go on.
215. All right, it's 217. Damn
You
it,
can lie
Pat.
about one. You can't lie about
That
both.
is really, really good.
What's
That's very
Patty Boy putting on his weight, though? I'd want to know what that was, too.
I don't think they have that on the Live
good.
website.
He's weighed down now. So
Right-handed.
That's right. Plays right, cash is right. It's all good.
Since you brought up some of these like iconic, like Tiger at St. Andrews and things like the '99 Open Championship, super memorable. If you had to pick, like, this is my most memorable call or the thing that I saw that stands out the most, you never call another game in your life. What's like the pinnacle? Right now,
it's Tiger 2000 at St. Andrews winning the career Grand Slam. He's only the fifth guy to do it, and the first three weren't on TV. The fourth one was on, seen in 1965. So you think about when that happened, it was 2000. It had been almost 35 years since it happened before. It hasn't happened in 22 years since. So once in the last 57 years, somebody's completed the career slam. I know we talk about it all the time. Rory gets the Masters. We got three guys who are one shy of it right now. But that just hadn't happened. That's the rarest of rare in the sport. And to be on the mic calling that and do that was something I'll just cherished forever.
That's a big
What
one.
kind of relationship do you have with Tiger?
You know what? It's good. I never pretend to be friends with athletes you cover. I like having a healthy relationship where if I need something, I can ask, whether it's for on air or for background, and build trust. I'm not in a position where I'm, working for Outside the Lines at my old place, ESPN. And that's not a knock. It's just you're not in a position where you have to do these journalistic type interviews all the time. But there are times you have to ask hard questions. So I always try to keep a little bit of a buffer or a distance. So to the point of Tiger, if I reach out, he usually will get back to me.
Yeah.
And he's been really good and really nice along the way. And look, none of us are perfect. He has imperfections, but he has done so much for the sport and our relationship. We both started, he was on tour August of 96. I started January of 97.
Yeah. First
First event I called, he won, was the Mercedes Tournament Champions at La Costa. He beat Lehman in a one-hole playoff when Sunday got washed out. So I've kind of paralleled his entire rise through this and been able to see a whole bunch of it. He's been great to me over the time, so lucky.
Talk about, you've been in it a long time. Talk about how much it's has changed for you. Because nowadays you slip up one time, everybody wants your job, and
Absolutely,
it's gone.
yeah.
You're
That's Twitter.
Tell me
That's
how.
just social.
Twitter.
Yeah.
You can't say one thing. If you want to try to be, people try to be entertaining and funny, but then it's oh God, I can't say the wrong thing, or if I offend one person, I'm screwed.
Well, and you guys know, because you talked about Gary before. I love McCord and Faraday and Peter Alice too. Which is hysterical.
Legend.
They can't get away. They couldn't get away with the stuff now on the air they got away with 20, 25 years ago.
And that sucks.
It's just a different.
Yeah. The risk's not worth the reward. To make one funny joke, get a couple laughs, or oops, that came out wrong. People are offended. I'm done.
That's perfectly said, Drew. But people also want somebody to be entertaining, and it's a really thin line to follow. I'm glad that my job is the what. People don't come to me for entertainment. My wife will tell you I'm the least funny person in our family, and that includes the dog. Dog's funnier than I am. But you don't have to sit there in our job and be quippy, creative, funny. You can have humor with your group. It's usually pretty safe. Humor with something that happens, but did I offend someone? Is there somebody who could take this the wrong way? Is always in the back of your mind. Now it's in the front of your mind. And nobody wants to be canceled. We all like doing this. You wish that as a society, not just for TV sports or radio sports or pods or anything like that, you just wish that our society could, one, loosen up a little bit. I totally understand people being offended, and you don't want to say offensive stuff. If somebody's offended by it, you shouldn't say it. That's why the Washington football team changed their name.
Yeah.
Sit and talk to somebody from that community, and you understand why their former nickname was so offensive to people. So even though we did it for a long time, it wasn't right. It needed to change. So if being offensive intentionally is one thing, but people make mistakes.
Yeah, it's like a one-strike policy anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And we just have lost the art of compromise in everything. Even changing lanes. You go to change lanes, and people get mad at you. Hey, what are you doing? Stop, relax. You can't talk politics with people anymore because you're afraid if you bring it up, they won't speak to you again if you don't agree in political beliefs. We should be a lot better about what we've had in this country for a long time. What has made us great is the collective and bringing people together. And now we're moving away from collective. We're moving back to separate and individual and dislike, and it just isn't serving us well. And I just hope we can all get our act together a little bit better. And I'll tell you one thing which is cool about golf. I did this event in northern Michigan this past spring, and Arn Tellem, who runs the Detroit Pistons, he's the chairman of the Pistons, he tried to bring Republicans and Democrats in the state of Michigan together and try to do it on the golf course. Because this is one place that
How'd it go?
not as many from one side played as the other side, but that's okay. There was enough, and there was some, and at least the spirit of it sparked a desire to do it again next year. And this is one place where you can bring together people who disagree and maybe have some commonality. As you know, 4 hours out there, you kind of figure out what somebody's all about.
Which
No
side
doubt.
was light, Mike? I'm kidding.
Oh, the Independents, Drew.
Get the thing. Yeah, the Libertarians were a no-show.
Communist Party was not well represented on the golf course.
Are you about to announce your presidential campaign right here? 2024, Tirico?
It'd be my only if Colt would be my running mate.
Oh, God, there's too many skeletons.
If I have time,
He's in the vice
I'm an
captaincy.
assistant Ryder Cup captain now, so
He's got a lot of shit going on. I'll slide in. I'll write your speeches.
But, what you said about trying to make a joke or all this, that's why I just make fun of myself.
Right, exactly.
I can only offend me. That's great.
You can only piss yourself off so much, and you'll still talk to yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
Tweet yourself.
It is. I just think it is tragic because it is a show, right? Like what we're doing is a show, and I want it to be entertaining.
So I wonder, and we're all the way off at any topic that you guys.
Yeah, we're
nice,
just fellas chopping it up.
What about comedians?
How about what's going on with Chappelle? He can't even get gigs. I mean, they're kicking him out of places.
I don't remember the last borderline offensive comedian that I saw on TV or anything.
They're scared.
Ooh. And that used to be the case. Like Don Rickles insulted now. Soft for its time, or no, soft for now, but in its time, it had sharp edges. Don Rickles insulted everybody who was breathing. And now, it's like, ooh, you can't do that.
Richard Pryor,
right,
pretty good, would be gone in a second nowadays.
There's one guy that just doesn't care, and that's Ricky Gervais.
He's off.
like,
Bill Burr kind
of
of falls in.
And I don't really care what y'all think.
Well,
Ricky,
remember,
Bill, and Chappelle.
George Carlin, one of his famous bits was the 7 words you can't say. Now on a podcast, you can, McAfee on his radio show, he says the 7 in every segment.
I feel like the guys that don't abide by the rules or worry about being are the ones people gravitate towards. Look at McAfee, you know what I mean? Look at Love Him or Hate Him, Barstool. Like, dude, they say stuff and they have a huge following. It's like people, it seems like, are craving for the non-super PC stuff, but there's only a few people willing to actually do it and can get away with it.
And can get away with
Barkley.
it. And
Chuck.
Exactly. Over the years, exactly right. So I think what's happened now is we are anti-institution. Like if there's an institution out there, people want to go after it and knock it down or chip away at it. Institutions help make individuals successful. And now it's like old school days. It's the revolution of the individuals. And they're fighting back in every possible way. And I don't know if it's the phone, everybody's got a phone, they feel like they've got influence, power, voice, whatever it is, but anybody who's been put in any sort of discomfort, they're just going to fight back and try to take it down.
We're really digging deep here. We're solving some problems right now. This is not what I expected.
Way different than I thought I was going to. I don't know.
Do you want to talk about some dumb shit right now?
Yeah,
we got 9 dumb things to talk about.
Let's talk about me carrying makeup all the time. You want to talk about that?
What is your makeup routine like? How long did it take you to get done up?
Like 90 seconds.
Is it just the dome?
It's just like some powder and some anti-shine. What about you?
You got a nice.
I'm out on the golf course now, so it doesn't matter.
But like if you're going to be in front of the camera,
Yeah, I love when they
You got to powder that thing up.
It's
Isn't
great.
that a good feeling?
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm sweating here like a
Hold
pig,
on.
and you're taking this little thing and tapping my head. It ain't gonna do a thing.
You're
You're
bald as
shining.
shit. Come here, let me help you.
Now I'm just gonna sweat makeup into my eye. Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful.
I can carry makeup with me wherever I go, which is nice.
Oh really? Are you wearing any right now?
No, well,
What do you got on?
if you can't tell, then I
true.
win.
That's
I'm
right.
good at it.
That's right.
Who
That's
spends
32 years.
of all the people you've worked with? Does anyone spend longer in the makeup chair than Brandel?
Oh no. And I don't work with them all that often, but yeah, no, that's
It's a process.
His writer's got to be long too. He's got to have some old literature so he could quote it.
It's a complete,
you know what I mean?
It's a complete look. Here's what I love about Brandel. He works.
He
his tail
grinds.
off. I always joke about his legal pad. His legal pad's got more scribbles and more stuff. Like he's researching stuff. He's like, do you remember that shot? Remember that shot Aoki hit at 81? I'm like,
No.
dude. And I don't mean the double hit. I was like, dude. He he's that's kind of like a Don January leg action, isn't it? Can you get me a shot of that? Like
He's a smart man.
He knows
a
some golf
smart
deep.
dude. He works his tail off, and he's not afraid to take on a topic and then defend it. And he's good with you disagree with it, trying to knock it down a little bit because he loves the sparring. It's pretty cool because it's actually taken golf, a sport that never had debate or a post-conversation culture, and it's actually added to it, which I think is really cool.
And love him or hate him, the points he takes, like he truly believes it's not some of that shock jock stuff we were talking about. Some of those names that came up on the debate shows, like let's just argue for the sake of arguing.
Right.
If he argues it, like he truly believes. Like I got a Tiger stat here,
Well, and he
I'll
can
back
back it
that
up.
up with
Right.
50 pieces of info.
Well, he can back it up. And in defense of the other guys, like they've become entertainment. They were all journalists and writers, and they know the deal. But you've got to do it 5 days a week on a bunch of topics. Like I did talk radio for a little bit after Dan Patrick went out on his own. I followed Dan doing his show on ESPN Radio, and I wasn't very good at it because I didn't have a take on the Red Sox bullpen. Like I
don't care.
I didn't have that.
You need an opinion on everything.
That's a hard thing to do. So doing that every day is a challenge. Brandel is one sport each day, but he'll come find a topic and he'll defend it or he makes you think about it. And I have full respect for it. And he's got beautiful hair.
If you want to dive back into radio, Gravy Sleeves and Tirico.
Oh.
It's not terrible. And you don't have to say shit on it. We say dumb stuff all the time.
I like you guys on the radio because there's like an almost thought in your mind, those guys don't know they're on. Yet there's always a return to purpose. No, I'm serious. There's always like a return to purpose. When the live stuff was really starting, you guys had more fascinating conversations. I actually sat in my driveway for about 8 or 9 minutes listening to you guys. Forget I could just listen on my phone.
Right.
I could get out of the car.
It's true.
But it's that kind, and that's good because the conversations that you guys would have off air, you have on air,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes a difference of people know each other. That's why all the other shows are great. They try. Nothing is like PTI on TV because Kornheiser and Wilbon have been having those arguments
spectacular.
at the Washington Post in the newsroom for 40 years. And it's a continued conversation. If you took the cameras down and the lights down and the mics off and the two of them were still there, the conversation would continue. I've been in the room. I've heard it. I've seen it. And that's who they are. And so that's the one thing about today, getting back to this other stuff we're talking about, it's authentic. If it's authentic, people will buy it and they'll test drive it for longer than 1 minute. And that's what you guys are when you're on the show. You're authentic.
Appreciate
That's the
that.
nicest
That's
thing
awesome.
anyone's ever said to us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Save that.
I wrote him a script before. He basically verbatim.
I'm feeling like Tiger walking towards Valley of Sin. I'm getting emotional right now. Sorry.
Let's get to the E9. I mean,
let's
I feel
go.
like we could go.
We've
8
solved a
hours
lot
with
of.
you.
We'll get into Israel and Palestine next time.
What happens now?
So we do an
9.
emergency 9 where we 9 fun questions to even learn even more about the great Mike Tirico.
Yeah, these are all across the spectrum here.
Okay.
And you have it pretty good, so I don't even know if you're gonna have an answer to this.
Is like, do I have to? Is this like Final Jeopardy? Is this timed? Is this
No,
pressure?
you can.
There's no pressure.
There's
Okay.
some deep thinkers here,
No,
Mike.
But we ask this to everyone.
Yeah.
You can be anyone else for a day. Walk in their shoes for a day, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Oh wow, I would. Tom Brady.
Okay.
Tom Brady. Yeah, I'd like to be that good looking.
You're gonna be
and
tall,
that talented.
good looking, talented.
Yeah,
What about the home life? That okay? You all right with that?
I love my wife.
Yeah.
Very smart man. See?
All right. Let's say you're calling an NFL game. You
Yeah.
get to pick your color guy for one game only. Doesn't have to be a broadcaster. Just anyone up there you're gonna have the most fun with. This is gonna be cool. You can say dumb stuff. It doesn't matter who you want up there.
Is this dead or alive also?
Yeah, you can span it out.
Madden.
Madden.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
Madden, because we
Damn,
all
that's
listen
a
to
good
Madden.
one.
I'd love to have a game of Madden, and that's the thing, and boom, and Favre and Brett Favre, because Brett Favre is Brett Favre. Yeah, Madden.
He's like Charles. I feel like I'd listen to him call
anything.
badminton world championships. I'd be like, I'll watch it.
Anything. He used to do a spot on KCBS, the news radio station in San Francisco, a 5-minute radio spot that would talk about anything, and it was some of the most intelligent, interesting stuff. John was much more than football. Amazing, amazing dude.
He started talking about how these 3 water coolers were a family one day.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it was brilliant.
That was he started circling them, and that was for the.
Time out. That's a problem.
We're talking to Mike Tirico for the love of.
What the hell is that?
We got to build out.
We
the
got
dynamic.
a superstar over here.
We got people. We got Detroiters coming here. We got to build out. We got to make sure the beer is
Hold
cold.
off on the
That
infrastructure.
was when they the Gatorade ban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
he
like,
started
this is the
circling
baby
Yep,
cooler.
that's
This
right.
is the mama cooler. I'm
That's
like,
great.
what the hell is happening right now?
That was awesome. All right.
Oh, that's great. That was
That's you.
mine.
It's
okay.
you.
Now
Over
3.
over to
We don't
me.
know we're on air. See,
Yeah,
I told you.
we don't know where. So Joe Buck has always talked about how his pre-show tradition is he has a beer
Right.
before. Does Mike Tirico have any pre-show traditions?
Closest thing is I usually grab a cup of coffee.
That's not as exciting, Mike.
I understand.
No bloopers, no
You want me to
pregame
make
rituals.
stuff up?
I got to
I
get
can
something
make
for my
stuff
next
up. Go on,
question.
Yeah, I'm a beer. You gotta get something for
I
your
got a
next
prop
question?
for the next question.
What the hell is going on here?
What do you need?
He's got a prop for the next question.
Oh,
I'm-
yeah.
I'm more a cup of coffee guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't eat much the day of a game, and I'm starving during the game, so I look for a snack. Did I give him enough time to get this?
Yes.
That's
You
a good job. Good riffing.
Thank
That's
you.
what we call that in the biz, Mike. Riff. Just
Call it-
riff.
In the biz.
We call it a fill, actually. Riff is music, but good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're getting
See,
better.
that's
Keep
why I'm
going.
talking
He
about
doesn't know what he's talking about.
Go.
All right, you worked with us on SiriusXM
Yes.
for the Masters,
Oh,
okay?
no,
Masters Radio.
no,
There was a
no,
certain read,
no,
Mike. No, you
no.
made
Yep.
me feel really good
God,
about
no.
myself. So to show the people out there how tough our jobs are, I brought the read that I thought was the worst read in the history of life.
Ever.
And you haven't seen it since the Masters, nor have I. This is the way it was printed on the screen when we were reading it. Right. I want you in your best Mike Tirico pro broadcaster. Read this. Ready. Promote the shit out of this. Right? Promote it. Oh, he's done.
Don't miss the epic but true story of the greatest movie almost never made, full of never revealed negotiations and drama. The new limited series, The Offer. Based on the never-been-told story of The Godfather, it's streaming April 28th exclusively on Paramount+. The Offer tells Oscar-winning producer Albert S. Ruddy's extraordinary experiences in making The Godfather alongside a crew of Hollywood outsiders. Witness all that it took to create a cinematic mission for the ages, set against the new Hollywood movement and the New York City Mafia. The all-star cast is led by Miles Teller as Albert S. Ruddy, Matthew Good as Robert Evans, Juno Temple as Betty McCart, and Giovanni Ribisi as Joe Colombo, as well as Dan Fogler as Francis Ford Coppola, Bern Gorman as Charles Bloodhorn, Colin Hanks as Barry Lapidus, and Patrick Gallo as Mario Puzo. The Offer. Streaming April 28th exclusively on Paramount+. Go to ParamountPlus.com, The Offer, to try it for free.
Well, God. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, that is not Carl Paulson. That is Mike Tirico.
Have you been working on this? Because I came on the air, I was coming on right after you, and I heard you read it, and it's a tough read, as you just and there was a couple little hiccups. I was like, if Tirico messes up, the rest of us are exempt. This thing's impossible. That was really well done. Holy shit, a lot of names.
The funny part of that is somebody said, hey, did you see this thing? I saw this great thing about The Godfather called The Offer. Like, no.
You mean Albert S. Ruddy? Yeah. You mean Miles Teller as Juno Pacalu? They all end in vowels. They're impossible.
I'll never forget.
That's fabulous memory by you, Mike.
It was good.
Yeah.
That read was brutal. We also like to make fun of each other when we have to do the soccer reads because some of the team names are just bizarre and we have no idea. But I was watching Sunday Night Football one night, and the great Al Michaels had to do a soccer promo read, and he just slurred the team's name, and I was like, yeah, if he does that, I feel great about myself.
That's the oldest.
That's what you do. Just mumble right through it.
Take a deep breath and go, Colt Knost.
Oh God,
that was
Will Zalhorst.
Really, really well done. Given that that's the first time you've seen it since April.
So dramatic too. I might go watch it now. Finally.
No, don't watch it.
We'll record that.
Streaming April 28th on Paramount+.
Only on Paramount+. Yeah.
All right. A lot of announcers have their catchphrase. I mean, Jim Nantz, "Hello, friends." Mm-hmm. Is it Mike? What is going on?
Do these people know?
We got a build-out going on. This is what the PGA Tour on Tuesday is all about.
I mean, they don't know the kind of big production that's going on up here right now.
Yeah.
Mike will have your ass.
Number 5.
We have Jim Nantz, obviously with "Hello, friends." Is it Mike Bren?
Mike
Bang.
Breen? Mike Breen?
Yeah, I like him. Bang.
Bang.
Chris Berman's got a million of them. What's your favorite announcer's catchphrase?
That's a good. I love "Hello, friends." I do like that because it means so much. It has a meaning that most people don't get unless they hear Jim talk about it. So I love that because I'm kind of a little sappy in that way as well. I think I like Mike Breen's NBA call. I like Bang.
Dude, it's so good. I love that. Yeah,
it's really good. He also has a good puts it up, puts it in.
Yeah,
puts it up, puts it in. That's very good also. Yeah, I'd say that I will say "Hello, friends" randomly to people.
I say it all the time.
Right, I open the radio show half the time with it.
It's so cool. It's neat. And Jim has been so nice to me. Even when I was in local TV in Syracuse, Jim was at CBS doing NCAA tournament stuff, and he was the big new network guy. He's been nice to me from then on, and we've been friends. And I'm one of those friends. I feel that way.
He is.
He's
talking straight to you. Chris Berman, by the way. I mean, the amount of ones he has. I mean, the fastest 2 minutes in football or whatever, when he does those highlights.
Those are great.
Beautiful.
In college roommates, I told you all in sportscasting, in the 1980s, we sat and we had a legal pad in front of the TV, junior year, and anytime there was a new Chris Berman nickname, we wrote it down, and we sent the whole list. We typed it up, sent it to ESPN. This is before, 8 years before I worked at ESPN. They didn't even know I existed. Never heard back from them, but that was like a so I knew when I got to ESPN, I'm like, okay, guys, can you get this done, please? Because I know what happens when we send you good stuff. You do nothing with it.
Beautiful.
So it was great.
I like that.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little SAT style question here. Okay, Syracuse guy, smart dude.
Not really.
When it comes to sports broadcasting alumni, okay, Syracuse is to Michael Jordan as Northwestern is to blank. Giving you an opportunity here to really drop a bomb.
Michael Jordan's the best of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We've established.
You got that, yeah.
Bob Cousy.
Oh, I was hoping you'd go Will Perdue or something.
No. I worked with
Bill
Perdue.
Winnington. That's not a knock on him. He's not
trash
in
Will
amongst.
Perdue.
He's not in the Michael Jordan
So you
stratosphere.
wanted me to
I wanted
really
you to go
like-
super low and start a beef with
bury
Northwestern.
somebody.
Yeah.
No, but I went sneaky old. I'm like old school like writers. Yeah, we're the always hip, trend-setting guys, and they're like the established. So I kind of
Koozie, that's a very complimentary.
intelligent answer, not mean-spirited.
Yeah, I opened it up for you. I wanted to see where you'd go
Jeremy Lin
with that.
Is what
Jeremy
you
Lin's
want?
Insanity.
You
So
want-
they had like a
that-
week or two of
That's
just
what you
madness, and
wanted.
then
that was
a quick flash. That was nuts
awesome.
when he was
That was
doing that.
awesome. We had one Sunday game in the Garden that he went for 30. It was just crazy. That was one of the. You asked me before, which I always pump the brakes on. What my favorite moment was. It got more important after he passed away tragically. But doing Kobe's last game at Staples Center was nuts because we were in the locker room before the game, and me, Hubie Brown, Lisa Salters, and our producer in a separate, small room there with Kobe. We interviewed him before the game, and he had played the night before, and he's like, I don't know if I got 20 minutes in me, 22 minutes most. And he played 30-some-odd minutes, wouldn't come out, and went for 30, then 40, then 50, and scored 60. I'll never, ever, ever forget.
That's so cool.
That was one of the coolest nights ever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then,
Still remember that.
And then after Kobe passed, they showed that game. Like that accident happened on a weekend, and then on that Monday night, they showed the game on ESPN, and I was somewhere in a hotel. I was traveling for who knows what, and I watched the game, and I cried like a baby. Got really emotional watching it, but I felt so proud of our group, not just me, our whole group, because that's the last basketball game he played, and we did it the right way. That game was a tribute to his career for the first kind of half and third quarter, and then when he started playing great and out of his mind, we just let it be that. And if you ask me if I'm proud of any moment on TV, that game for
That's
sure.
it. Yeah,
really
that's a
good.
big one. Get Kobe's last game.
That's God, gone
You've done
way
some
too
big
soon.
stuff, Mike.
You've done a few
You
big
caused
things.
some big moments,
No, not really.
and now you're here.
Not really.
You're subpar.
I called Nota Begay winning in a playoff in Hartford.
That's got to be up there high.
Yeah, and I was really excited about it. He beat Calc. I forget what he
Ran around the green and gave it the
He
double
ran-
Oh,
gun.
the double gun. That's
Double
when he had the.
guns.
That's when he had the hoops, right?
Hoops. He
Yeah,
had
the hoops.
And I was all excited about it. Noto always was fired up that I got so excited about the win because I had a flight to catch.
Yeah, get out of here. That's great.
When the announcers are rooting for you hard, you know they're trying to get the hell out of Dodge.
Close it up, yes.
And we're done.
We're gonna make our
I'm outta
flights.
here.
See you later. Way to go,
I
Noto.
we had Harris English on earlier, and he won the 8-hole playoff.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, hey, can you get that shit over with earlier? Like, I don't get paid overtime.
I know.
Like, what are we doing? All right, next one. You're so nice. This has probably never happened to you, but has a player, any athlete, ever reached out and gotten upset with you about something you said about them?
Charles Howell III.
What?
Oh,
Now no longer on the PGA
a
Tour.
recent guest here on the program.
Wasn't mad. He kind of felt he put me in my place. Rain delay, Westchester, maybe 99 or 01, something like that. And it's a rain delay. We're killing time. We're just totally killing time. Now the guys are warming up. And there's Charles, and we say, Charles, if he finishes top 5 this week, he'll pass Jack Nicklaus, Jack or Arnold. There's Jack. Pass Jack Nicklaus in all-time career earnings. But, I kept going, it just gives you also a window into how insignificant that stat is because the earnings have changed so much over time. Charles took that as a slight. It wasn't meant as a slight at all. It was just trying to be accurate.
Money's
right?
changed, yeah.
The money changed even then, and now it's like nobody talks about that list anymore.
Hey, Charles, you don't have 18 majors.
Now it's like,
I don't know if you know that.
Well, Charles, the next day or the next week, maybe in DC, Charles said something to me. Hey, that I heard that you said that, and that's something Curtis should say. That's stuff that you shouldn't say. And he kind of, he was bothered by it. It's fine. He wasn't mean about it at all. I was just like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, look, I hope I'm here. I hope I'm here when you win your 18th major and pass Jack in that category. But other than that, I haven't had an athlete turn on me because
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one thing
I'm
I
shocked that it
love-
was Charles by the
Right,
way.
right.
And also, anytime you're in the same sense with Jack, it's like it's not it can't be that terrible.
It's not a knock at all. It wasn't meant that way.
One thing, like, I love what Charles says. He's like, he goes, these players, every time I say something bad about them, they call me and reach out. But every time I say something great, they never call and thank me. Like, come on. Like, it's give and take.
It's like Twitter.
Yeah.
As
How
humans.
many times do you go on Twitter and say Colt Knost is awesome today? Right?
Well, it's never happened.
I'm gonna do that.
Not
this
ever.
week. When I work with you, when you say something, how great is Colt Knost on the air?
And then someone's gonna say, "Shut up, Mike." No, he wasn't.
Mike, you suck.
Exactly right.
Shut up. Stop talking. Just let him golf.
Well, it's like the dry cleaner. Do you ever tell the dry cleaner they do a good job with your shirts? No. But when they screw one up,
You let them know.
You go right
You
back.
got some stuff there as we speak, Cole. I want you to give a compliment to the young lady when you come back out.
Very nice lady.
Yeah, they're gonna have you
Oh, dry
starched
cleaning?
up proper
It's out of clothes.
for that.
Second week in a
You're
row
on
on
the
the
road.
road.
It's
For
okay.
that-
That happens.
Yeah.
That
So you
all
just
black.
gotta drop
Squeak.
it all off and come back.
I missed the window at the hotel by 15 minutes to get it back the same day. So
Okay.
this lady down the street was just nice enough to do it for me.
Don't you realize when
People
you go
helping
out,
people,
when you
it's
go out
beautiful.
on tour, like how nice people are?
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
great.
Like, you go to cities.
I love everyone.
Cities like just
except
open
for that
their
guy in
arms.
Hartford.
Oh, what happened?
I got a heckler. In
Cole's got
Hartford.
an extreme hater that he's pissed off in a way that I don't. Like, the wrath of God is
Never had
is
anyone
inside
say
of
more
this
mean
human, and
things
he
to me.
hates Colt with a passion.
Was he
We
saying
keep
to you
trying to
while you were on
find
the
him.
golf course?
Yeah, I was playing. Sleaze is trying to find him. It's his
I
favorite
want
term
this
of the
guy.
year.
I want him on the radio. I put out a find me FBI. If you can locate this angry dude in
2 years
Hartford
in a
who
row
hates
just
Colt,
wore my ass out.
I'd
walking
like
up
to just-
18.
Serious?
Yeah,
I want to have
Like,
a beer
very,
with him.
very
Let-
mean things.
Let's slap one of those Apple tags on him.
We gotta
I gotta
find
find
him.
this guy.
We
You
got.
I just want to know what I did to him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, we can.
Was it when betting was legal? Did you cost him like a 5-player parlay?
Probably.
Like missing a putt on 18 or
His
something?
$2 fantasy lineup. Get over it. I'll give you $2. Don't say mean things about me.
I mean, we gotta be able to locate this man.
It's
We can go to
Apple
the
tag.
moon.
Put an
We can
Apple
do all
tag
kinds
on
of
it. We'll
shit.
get it. We'll get it.
We can find this dude in Hartford. My turn.
Yeah.
Okay, confirm or deny
Yes.
here
Yes.
from your great friend Sean McDonough.
Uh-huh.
When you first arrived at Syracuse and you had to help him move out of his apartment,
Accurate.
you purposely carried the lightest shit possible in the house and were the worst mover he's ever had.
1,000% confirmed.
All right.
1,000% confirmed. He got a job in Boston. I was starting in September. He had just finished, graduated a few months before, 3 months before, but stayed to do the minor league baseball team, which was then called the Syracuse Chiefs. Sean finished that, got a job in Boston. I'm in the sports department. I'm 3 weeks there. I'm trying to learn like how you do this, and seniors teach freshmen and upperclassmen. It's really helpful. And it says, hey, we're all going to McDonough's. He got a job. I'm like, Sean McDonough? I care? I don't know him. Right?
What a bum he is.
First time I met him, I'm like, I'll just pick up something light and throw it in. I'll leave.
Yeah.
True story.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Hey,
he can,
you're
he
the
can
only
forever
guy.
call me one of his movers.
Exactly.
So-
He worked for you, or
He
you
hol-
worked for him.
I worked for him. I was his
Yeah.
mover, so he can hold that over me forever.
For forever.
And
I think he does.
And he was cheap then, and he's cheap now.
So you do know him. No.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
kidding, Sean.
Yeah,
we
he's
love
well
you,
taken.
Sean.
I 1,000% kid. He's one of my favorite people in the world. I love Sean. He's great.
He's a riot.
All-time great people, and can laugh at himself as well.
I called him on the phone for a couple quick stories. I knew you were there together. Next thing I know, I look at my phone. It's like 43 minutes. I was like, all right, dude. I just was looking for like one Tirico story.
You know what Sean McDonough's best for? When you're on a drive somewhere.
Oh,
Like, you need like a good friend to keep you awake for a half hour with some stories.
fun to play golf with too.
He's good.
Uncensored Sean is good.
Fabulous.
Sean,
Great,
yeah,
love great people, love him, and like not good, freaking brilliant.
great at hockey. By the way, which you were talking about how
is.
hard it
He's
is.
very
He's
good
done
at
a
hockey.
great job.
I wanted to ask him this and I didn't. I think he might be the only guy to call the World Series and the Stanley Cup on TV.
Probably. Yeah.
Because
That's
of all the sports, those are the two most different. Think about how slow baseball is. Think about how fast hockey is. I don't think anybody's ever called. I shouldn't open my mouth and say that. Somebody will tweet me. But
let's just say it's few and far between.
We don't. No one's listening.
and
What
if
are
it's
you talking
one,
about?
that would
Yeah,
be few.
this is like our parents.
Yeah.
Oh. Are these
Say
on?
hi to my mom. Say hi,
Hello?
Susan.
These on? Susan, hi.
There you go. She's gonna
You
love
did
that.
such a good job raising. Well, yes, you
Easy
did.
there.
Hold the lies.
We don't
Yeah.
like to lie on this show.
You're running for president.
Am
dude.
I,
We're
are we
gonna-
done? Is that 9 questions yet?
This is
This
it.
is the
Last
last
one.
one.
You ready?
God, okay.
We're just
Okay.
getting started.
This is obviously the end is a very long time from now because you're going to keep calling the greatest sporting events there is. But you've done everything. You've done Super Bowl, Olympics. I mean, what haven't you done? It's not.
Travelers Championship. I've called
You do
everything.
fights?
You got one.
No boxing. No boxing.
No boxing.
God,
you
you're
got
kinda
one
limited.
last broadcast.
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
If I had one last to do, other than you guys playing in the match,
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
don't tease the people. I'm gonna be clamoring. I'm gonna be clamoring for this.
That's
Mike.
a good
I'm gonna be
line.
broadcasting rights
you,
all over
you
the
guys are
place.
legitimately funny. I thought that you had writers.
No, it's bull.
It's
It's all
actually funny.
bullshit.
It's just, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl?
Like,
But you skipped a Super Bowl
yeah, no,
for the
no,
Olympics.
no, I was there as the host.
came
I got to
back.
host- I got to host it.
Okay.
But,
A pre and post,
to
right?
call a game, it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That is, look, you look at the number of people vote in our elections every year. That's the only number that rivals the number of people who stop to watch the Super Bowl. Like, almost 1 out of every 2 people in America. The numbers are 100 million, but people at parties aren't measured properly. Almost 1 in every 2 Americans stops to watch the Super Bowl. It is not even close. It's the only thing that stops our country. It's the biggest day we have in America. Crosses over all religions, all cultures, all demographics, all that stuff. To be a part of that day, even during the pregame, and I've done 1 as the main host, 3 as one of the smaller hosts of the show, is great. But to do the game itself would be something I hope to do at some point. That would be the coolest thing for me.
If you keep your head down, Mike, you keep going, I feel like you got a spot in this game. You know?
And
never give up.
And if not, I am more than happy to be the walker and call the on-course action for the club championship at your club. Anybody. If you're out there, I'll be happy to come out and do that.
There's a radio spot waiting for you when you need it. If you need some work.
Why'd you look at Colt? You're not kicking him out.
No, it's going to be a 3-way.
It's gravy in the sleeves, not sleeves and gravy. Okay? Remember that.
The main event always comes last, dude. Tyson fight first ever?
And somebody said, which one's which? I said, they're both.
They're both both.
They're both both.
They're both both.
It's well put.
So there you
Michael, you're a champion.
that's
Thanks so
awesome.
much
Thank
for
you
the
so
time.
much.
That was a blast.
And I kind of joke around that they may listen anymore. You guys are great. It really, like what the sport needed, in addition to a bunch of other stuff, were fun and people who are real and people who talk like you do with your friends at the club and who are just kind of guys you want to hang with. And you guys are really good. So keep
Thank
up
you
the
so
great work.
much.
Best
That's
day of
great.
our lives.
All right, well, that was the great Mike Tirico, legendary sports broadcaster, and he ain't slowing down anytime, Sleaze. I mean, this guy, he does it all. Kentucky Derby, Indy 500, Super Bowl, Olympics, you name it, he does it. Sunday Night Football now, he's the lead host there. The guy's incredible. He is so good at what he does. It was awesome to sit down with him.
Yeah, there's nobody that can bounce around quite like Notre Dame football, then over to Olympic swimming. I mean, he was doing the Olympics over in China, flew back to host the pre- and post-game show for the Super Bowl, then flew back over there. He's a busy dude. He's awesome. He also likes to cut loose and have a good time. I've gotten to play golf with him, die-hard golfer, as you would expect. And I also tried to start a little feud there, Colt, at the end. I opened up the door for him between Syracuse and Northwestern because that's where all the sports journalism people go, and there's a little rivalry. And he didn't take the bait, dude. He's too seasoned. He gave a nice little compliment to him. I was hoping he would just go low with that one.
And how about the only time an athlete has ever called and gotten upset about what they've said, what Mike Tirico said about him? Charles Howell III. I was like, I told guys last week in the trailer when we were getting ready to go, I was like, they asked how the interview was, and I said, I'll give you 1 million guesses. You can name every athlete you could think of who called Mike Tirico to complain. You're never gonna get it.
Dude, I would have never guessed that. I was shocked when he did. And also, like, the stat that he used, like, hey, Charles Howell surpassed Jack Nicklaus or whatever it was, in terms of the money. Dude, they use that for, like, everybody. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays with the money the way it is. It takes, like, 2 years or some of these guys or whatever to pass Jack. I'm like, that's not really a knock. It's just that money was slightly different when Jack was playing compared to now. So, and like I said, anytime you get mentioned in the same breath with Jack, it ain't the worst thing. But I would have never ever guessed that the one guy of all the sports he calls across the world for all the years that it was Charles Howell.
Yeah. Speaking of Jack, we had a great time with our guys Jack and Sam from Fanduel out in Detroit. We got amongst it a little bit. I know you had to catch a flight, but we had a great time without you. Don't worry. And it's time now to step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the PGA Tour on Fanduel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet the tour with a no-sweat first bet. If you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back in free bets. And also good news, our man, Sir Charles, is staying with FanDuel, staying with TNT. He ain't going to that live nonsense. I'm very, very excited about that. But go to FanDuel. We got all kinds of things for the Wyndham Championship this week. You can bet outright winners, top 10s, top 20s, which Sleaze just loves his top 20 bets. You can do matchups, head-to-head, whatever you want to do. There's all kinds of things over there. So make sure you go to the FanDuel Sportsbook. And it is now time for us to make our picks for the Wyndham Championship. By the way, my favorite bet of the week finally hit last week, a little top 10 from Cam Young. So
you're back on the horse.
I think I'm in the positive now.
You're back on the
things
horse.
are good.
My heater ended, of course. Every good thing has to come to an end. Keegan, I blame you for that. But I'll be firing more top 20s. Horrendous. I love the top 20s, dude. I'm firing top 20s heavy.
All right, well, let's make our picks. We'll get our favorite bet of the week out later in the week. But for me, the Wyndham Championship, I'm going with a guy he's a stud, man. He drives it straight, hits his iron's great. He's got some of the most unbelievable hands ever. And I just like him every time he tees it up. He's going off at 16-1. I'm going with the big man, Shane Lowry.
Big Shane, your twin brother. Love his hands.
Love
watching
guy.
him chip the golf ball. I do like that bet a lot. And I'm going to say this, Colt. I feel very confident. Our best bets have been doing pretty good. I feel very confident in these two bets that I'm about to throw out here. So my favorite for the week, guy's going off at 26-1. He was 10th last week. He's got great course history at this golf course. He's finished in the top 10 the last 2 years. Irons it really well, always high up in strokes gains approach. Putter can get extremely warm as well. Russell Henley. Let's go. 26-1.
The Georgia Bulldog. Roof.
Yeah, you can't mention a Georgia guy without saying they're a Bulldog.
There's only like 42 of them out on tour. No big deal.
Yeah.
All right. My dark horse, he's not the darkest of horses, but he's got some nice odds, and he's been playing some incredible golf. His last 4 starts, T2, a win, miscut at the Open, but that was tough. He had to get over there quickly and all that. Travels quick. And then come back, T11 at the 3M Open. My man, JT Poston with the big cat Aaron Fleener on the bag going off at 40-1.
Let's go. They've been known to get around this joint sans bogeys, bogey free around this joint for 72.
That is correct. Still looking for a bogey there a couple years ago.
Still hunting. Cannot find him out there. I love that bet, JT. That is a dynamic duo with the big cat on the bag. All right, I'm going to go with the guy that, like, quietly, I feel like, under the radar. Former guest here. By the way, shout out former guest coming off the week after his show, Hubs, Mark Hubbard with the ace, with the most disappointing ace in the history. Hated the shot, thought he shanked it, ended up making an ace with a 4-iron. So shout out to Hubs.
I talked to him on the range on Sunday. I was like, dude, you got to tell me about this. He's like, man, I was blocking everything all day. I was so stuck. I just assumed he like mishit it and didn't think it was going to get there. He said, I thought I hit it 15 yards right of the green. Like, I didn't even think it was close. When I looked up, he's like, oh boy, this is about to be embarrassing. Ends up going in. No big deal.
Yep. Hoop with a little 4-iron. I thought he hit it off the toe or thought it was 15 yards short.
Yep.
Nope. Right in the middle. Hubs with the ace piece with the 4-iron. Way to go. All right. My next guy, going off at 45-1. Former guest of the show. Quietly, 3 top 10s in a row. Okay. 8th at the Travelers, 4th at John Deere, 10th this past week. During that stretch, 5 rounds of 66 or better. He's rolling the shit out of it right now, and I think his time's coming. Scott Stallings, 45-1.
Don't hate it. He has sneaky been playing some really, really good golf. All right, like I said, we'll get our favorite bets of the week out to you later this week, but see for yourself why Fanduel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the Fanduel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code SUBPAR to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Once again, make sure you use that code SUBPAR so they know that we sent you. Must be 21 years and older and present in Arizona, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, or Wyoming. First online real money wager. Only refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Iowa, New Jersey, and Illinois. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369 in New York or 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. I'll be honest, that one was much better than last week's.
That was smooth. You're back. You're back in the saddle, doing good work. Everyone out there, go check it out. Get paid, win money. That's all there is to it.
And go to the Golf.com Pro Shop. Pick up the newest Birdie Juice lids. They are fantastic, perfect for summer. You're going to love them. And we'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.